Welcome to the Mighty Emotions podcast. I'm your host, Giselle. I'm a certified emotions coach, and I teach you how to respond better to your emotions so you can feel better in your life. My mission is to show you how to work with your emotions to become more emotionally resilient. Your emotions are not designed to overpower you, they're designed to empower you. On this podcast, I share what our emotions are, how to understand them and work with them, and the tools you need to reclaim your power and get unstuck from emotional pain so you can find fulfillment in your life again. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Emotions podcast. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how tired I am. I literally probably just woke up like 5 minutes ago, and I am taking it really slow today. Yesterday, I had a horrible anxiety attack. You can probably still hear the congestion, getting over that. If anyone is like a naturopath or deals with allergies or anything, I never had allergies until I got pregnant. And then I've just been getting random allergy attacks and can't really understand what my body's telling me right now. So if anyone works with allergies or anything like that and is more well versed in that, please reach out to me. Email me at mightyemotions@gmail.com because I really want to get rid of this. I want to go back to not having allergies. Anyway, so today's episode, I want to talk about why I'm so tired. And I've been tired emotionally. And I've been having a lot of conversations in my DMs and with people in my life, and a lot of people agree. Now, I'm going to share what I've come to understand about this through processing all the emotions that I've been suppressing. Because, hey guys, I am doing this work with you. Let me remind you, as an emotions coach, I am still a human first. I might be a mom, a wife, a this, a that, blah, blah, blah. I am a human being first and foremost. And I also suppress my emotions at times. And lately, I've just been so exhausted. And I know it's because I haven't been honoring my emotions. So I woke up at 1 a.m. and I was wide awake. Thanks, melatonin. It helps me go to sleep, guys, but it wakes me right back up in the middle of the night, and then I'm wide awake. So that's never fun. If you have a young child and a busy life, then you know. So I was awake at 1 a.m. and it was a gift because it gave me time with myself. It was quiet. There's a thunderstorm outside. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to be alone, to be free for a moment. And that's when I realized what my sadness, and I'll tell you how I knew sadness was showing up for me in a second, but I understood what my sadness was showing me. It was my need for freedom hasn't been getting met. And how I thought and how I understood freedom in a typical sense and how it's worked for me in the past wasn't working in this predicament. And so I've learned a new way of understanding procrastination, of understanding when this need isn't getting met. But first, how did I know I was sad? Because I just said I was tired, right? I was really tired. A lot of times we don't realize that sadness is that form of emotional exhaustion. It is a heaviness. It is urging us to slow down. It is that craving rest that is often sadness as the emotion that's going through our body. That's the instinct that's showing up. It wants us to rest, right? Sadness wants us to give ourselves a chance to integrate things. It wants us to give ourselves a gentleness, approach ourselves with softness. Like, that is why I knew I was feeling sadness. Also, because I was reaching for a lot of comfort things. Like, I was scrolling on social media. I do that too. I was, reaching for my desserts. I love a good dessert when I'm feeling like I need some comfort. It's also subconscious at times, so we don't even realize it. And we beat ourselves up. Oh, why am I reaching for the ice cream again? Why am I reaching for the chocolate again? Why am I scrolling on social media mindlessly? I know it's no good for me. You're sad. You're sad. There's sadness that's showing up because there's a void, because there's a loss of something. And it's often not just the loss of a person. A loss of a person isn't about the loss of that person. The loss of that person is a loss of the needs that that person was fulfilling by being in your life. So, and I don't mean like, oh, they gave you money or something like that. No, I mean, they gave you meaning. They gave you connection. They gave you purpose. You had fun with them. They brought joy to your life. A loss of a person is a loss of everything they brought to our lives. That's why sadness shows up, because sadness is indicating when we've lost one of our core needs. And I have really been struggling with freedom. And here's where I've learned a new way of looking at this, right? Oh, last thing I'll say is I knew it was sadness because I was procrastinating. Oh my gosh. I was procrastinating. Procrastination is a sign that you don't want to do something, by the way. So that's how I also was able to make the connection between which need was most deprived, because I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to throw all my responsibilities. Have you ever seen that meme of the photo of the guy throwing the paper in the air? Like, I just wanted to throw it all in the air and just disappear. Like, frankly, I was like, I'm over it. I've been telling people in my conversations, dropping little subliminals like, oh, I don't feel empowered. I don't feel empowered, you guys, by all the demands of my life. It's not cute. It's not cute. But it's real. And I'm here to be real on this podcast and in my work. And it's human. That's the most important thing. It's human, right? I don't need to beat myself up about it. I don't need to beat myself up about it. I need to look at it as information for me. It's information. So I realized that I was craving rest. I realized that I was feeling this heaviness. I realized that I was procrastinating. I realized that I was reaching for comfort things. And I really tuned in. I honored what I was feeling. I slowed down. My favorite way to deal with sadness and heavy emotions is to go really slow. Like, as slow as I think I'm going, go slower. If I'm doing something, if I'm picking something up, I'm picking it up slowly. If I'm working on something, I'm not multitasking. I love to multitask, but I hate to multitask. Like, there's times when I'm able to get so many things done, and there's times where no matter how much I do, the list just keeps growing and I can't sustain it. It's not sustainable. And I'm a manifesting generator for anyone that follows human design. And I love to be busy and active. And, when I have periods of energy, I got energy. And when I have periods of rest, I need rest. But I don't let that dictate my life. I let, first and foremost, what dictates my life first and foremost above all, astrology, human design, etc., is my needs. My needs, and whether or not my life is functioning in an aligned way in that period of time, right? So realizing that freedom was the need that I've most been missing. And here's why I wasn't really sure about that at first. So the reason why was because typically I think of freedom, and maybe you can relate to this, as pleasure, as fun, right? I'm like, I need to have more fun. I need to do more fun things. And that is an element of what freedom is and how we achieve that need for freedom in our lives. All of us need that spaciousness, that fun, that pleasure. We need to do things for no other reason than it brings us joy. We need to do things just because it's fun. Every now and again, because so much of our lives are spent being productive, being productive. There's a lot of productivity porn, as I call it. And it seems great. It sounds great, but it's not the only thing that we need in our lives. So as much as we need structure, as much as we need organization and cleanliness to give us a sense of safety, we also need fun and play and pleasure to just balance and harmonize our lives, right? When our needs are met, our core needs are met, our lives can be more balanced and harmonious. But here's the other part about freedom that I remembered, I was reminded by listening to that sadness. It's about agency. It's about authority, right? A lot of people will say, oh, is that safety? Like, no, no. Me remembering that I make choices, me remembering that I have choices, me making decisions based on nothing more than what feels right to me, that's freedom. That's autonomy, right? It's not just independence. It's not just I do what I want, and I don't care about anybody else, right? That would not be freedom because we would lose connection. We would, jeopardize our other needs. That's a non healthy way of getting freedom met. But when we can remember, like, oh, wait, I have been doing things purely out of obligation. That's why I don't want to do it because I feel like I have to. Or I'm not honoring my own agency as a person. I'm giving my power away to this thing. So here's how I combat procrastination, sadness, getting my need met. I go slow. Like I was saying earlier, I take my time. I do things at my pace. When I feel like I'm going slow, I go slower. I'm like, I refuse to rush today. Everyone can wait today, right? That's how I'm just letting this energy be processed. I'm prioritizing that processing of sadness. Sometimes I'll nap, right? Sometimes I'll take a nap. You can't go much slower than sleep. But when I've allowed myself to process that, it's time to really take action. And so, how do I show up differently? How do I respond differently to get that need for freedom met? Well, I remember that this is about my agency and my autonomy. And I make intentional choices about what I'm going to do differently. And I decide to do it in a way that works for me. So anytime I feel like I'm doing things out of guilt, and guilt is showing up to say, hey, wait a minute, are you taking responsibility for how other people are going to feel if you do this or don't do this? Or are you in your full autonomy? Are you doing things because you know it's what you have to do because you feel responsible, you want to feel responsible, you want to honor that value, but don't forget about your other values, right? Guilt is often an indicator that we get to reprioritize our values. And so sometimes I need to prioritize me. And I'm not talking about people pleasing necessarily, guys. I'm not talking about people pleasing. I'm not saying that I'm being a yes woman. I'm saying that there are so many things that I want to do, so many things that I want to accomplish, so many demands on my life that I'm allowing to control me. I'm allowing those things to run my life. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, this needs to be done. Oh, if this doesn't get done, this, and this. And there's the fear coming in. And when the fear comes in, it shows me that I'm way out of alignment. It shows me that I'm not taking care of myself. It shows me that I'm not remembering what's really important. And then I need to stop. I need to pause. I need to slow down again. I need to get clear. What's more important than this thing I'm afraid of? Right? What's the highest truth? What's the most important thing in the big picture? Right? Because I've lost sight of that. I've gotten off balance. So I decide, yeah, I'm going to do the things that I have to do. But I also get to, pause and say, are these things that I have to actually do? Am I taking on things out of fear again, guilt again, misunderstanding, right? Is it really something that I have to do, or do I think I have to, air quotes, do it, right? Do I think that horrible things are going to happen if I don't do this? Am I listening to what other people have told me I need to do? Or am I deciding how life gets to work for me? Right? Am I taking that agency that we all have, that we're all born with, and am I using it? Am I applying it in the decisions that I make in my life? That is where I'm at, guys. That is where I'm at. So, as much as I'm excited to do all of these things, some of them I'm going to look at the way that I'm doing them and ask myself, why am I doing it this way? Did someone tell me I had to do it this way? Is this really the only way to do it? Am I scared that I won't get X result if I don't do it this way specifically? What's the deal? Why am I doing it this way? Because it's not aligned. Or I'm going to say to myself, what can I do today for me for no other reason than it brings me joy and it brings me pleasure and I know it's what's right for me today before I tackle these other things. In my case, it's usually going for a walk. So I'm going to really set aside time to do that and try to, make more of an effort to do that in the mornings because this past week, actually, I haven't been able to do that. But it's one of the ways that I get that need for freedom met. So when I don't do that, I notice it, right? So maybe what is that for you? What is that thing for you that is just getting your freedom met, getting your autonomy activated, deciding how it gets to be for you? Because we really do make the rules in our lives more than we realize. A lot of the times we're just I don't want to say lazy, but a lot of the times we're just relying on what other people have told us. We're not trying to figure it out for ourselves. We're not trying to understand it for ourselves. What's that about? You have autonomy as a human being. You have agency, right? And when you give it away too much, when you make other people more responsible for you than you, that freedom is diminished, that need is diminished, and it shows up in your life usually through sadness. It can also show up through anger, guilt, fear. All of that stuff can show up at the same time. But a lot of times it's sadness. So ask yourself, has sadness been showing up for me and I haven't realized? Have I been craving comfort? Have I been procrastinating? Have I been just feeling not feeling autonomous in my life? Have I been feeling like I don't get a say in how this life goes? Because that is a lie. We always have a say. We always have a say. And sometimes we have to ask for it. Sometimes, we don't have as much power in certain phases of our lives as we'd like. But we always have a say to how we add our own style and our own flair to the world. And when you lose your ownness, when you lose your uniqueness, when you lose that flair, there is going to be sadness because the world needs that from you. Your relationships need that from you. You're not you without that, right? And that's that freedom. That's how you get that need for freedom met in a healthy way, by showing up as you, showing up with your essence, your energy, your style, doing things in your unique way. Yes, there are rules that we follow and we agree to because order is important. Like I said, it's important that we have order for safety. However, when we are too off balance, when we have lost that freedom too much, when we have forgotten our autonomy and our power, it's time to slow down. It's time to pause. It's time to take stock of where we've gone off, where we have lost ourselves, so that we can get back to it, get back on track, get back to being in harmony and in alignment. Okay, I hope that made sense. I just needed to get that out because that's what I'm going through right now. And I feel like this might help somebody who maybe also is just emotionally exhausted and doesn't realize that maybe that freedom, maybe that autonomy is what they are needing to activate within themselves to restore that harmony. Because it is the case for me. So I'm so happy to be able to make some new decisions and to make some tweaks and to feel more aligned again. A nap also helps. Anyway, with that, I love you guys for listening. Check the description for all the links that I normally talk about, but I'm just not going to get into in this episode. If you want to connect with me, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube. Mighty_emotions on Instagram and TikTok. And I love connecting with you guys. I can't wait to speak with you If you haven't joined me inside the community, again, the link is going to be below for that. And I'm just going to keep going and taking care of myself, and I hope that you'll do the same. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It would mean so much if you could subscribe, leave a review, share with your friends and family, and let me know what you think by going to my Instagram at mighty_emotions and connecting with me and letting me know what you loved about today's episode. It really means a lot that you support this podcast, and I love coming to you each week with a new episode. So be sure to subscribe, let me know what you think, and take care of yourself.